Good morning. This is Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Just about 9 o'clock here on Florida's first coast in the Jacksonville area. Not cold like it's been the last couple of days, but it's got a little coolness going on. But sun's out. Look like it's going to be a nice day. Too bad we don't have any college football playoffs going on the big levels anyway. But they do have the Army Navy game if you're interested in something like that. I'll take a peek sometime. Uh, Generally with the military background, but I'm not overly excited about that. But this year looks like Army's got the better team. They were flirting with making a playoff spot, and I think they should make quick work of Navy this year. But then again, Navy always has something to say about that. So we'll see. True rivalry. But today we're going to talk a little NFL football. Um, as you can see, that hold on, let me add another banner here because Fango Media, Fango, Fango Media, and add that one. Okay, let's go. Oh, no, no, no. That's not what I want to do. Let's create the banner. Let's try it again. Let's go and go. All right. Scroll across the bottom and go media. I don't think they gave it to me, but let's see. All right. Now we got it. All right. Since we're talking about the NFL here, I just added my ticker symbol. We are Fango Media, and there's a representative in each NFL city that do interviews with fans post game, immediately after the game, to get their reactions on their favorite team's performance for that particular game. This week, the Jets will be taking on Jaguars down here in Jacksonville. I am the representative for Fango here in Jacksonville this year, and uh, should be a pretty interesting environment. You got two very underperforming teams this year. Jacksonville now with 3 wins, and I think the Jets don't have very much more. More than likely, Aaron Rodgers is going to be out of town, going somewhere else. He didn't set the world on fire like we thought he would, but the buzz was last year when they had that good defense, and when the Jets, if they come up with a quarterback, then they'd be all right. Now, today I want to talk about: is it ever okay to quit on your teammates? Well, if you're watching the game the other night, you had Campbell, backup linebacker for the 49ers. When the guy got hurt, the guy ahead of him got hurt. I can't remember his name. He was tapped to go in and play linebacker. And he said, "Man, I'm not doing that." He just took his helmet off and walked off the field. He didn't want to play. Now, this guy's been in the league for 8, 9 years, and you would think that he would be much more of a profession than that. But it was an uproar in the 49ers system, the locker room after the game. They couldn't believe what had happened. Now, when something like this does happen, you can't expect for the player to recover from this. So a lot of people, fans and all across the sports world, are they're clamoring for Campbell to be fired or cut or released or whatever you want to do. And some of the players in the 49ers, they're saying the same thing. But is there a reason for what happened? That's kind of hard to say because Campbell, I haven't seen where he's come out and made a statement about why he did that. But from the player's perspective, there's no way that you could possibly come back from that. And then I saw where the head coach Shanahan said that there's no way you can stay on the team after something like that. Now, there is some precedent for what took place several years back. Um, Vontae Davis, play with the Colts and shipped him off to Buffalo. Um, at halftime of a game, he refused to come back on the field. Not only did he refuse to come back from on the field, he left the stadium. Nowhere to be found. Well, later it was found that he just didn't have the heart to play anymore. He just didn't want to play, so he retired right then. Left the stadium. Now he also came back and made a statement about that and explained exactly what I just said. He just didn't want to play anymore, and he also called it the best thing he ever did. Moved on to something else. Mike Wallace, he also did something like that. He didn't quite do it the same way that Davis and Campbell did it, but what he did do, he refused to play with Mike Tannehill again, the quarterback. Tannehill bouncing passes and missing opportunities left and right. And Wallace just got tired of it, man. He didn't want to play for this guy no more. So he pretty much say, man, if you're going to keep this guy, get rid of me. And at the end, they end up shipping Wallace somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where he went, but he wasn't with the Dolphins anymore. But he just got tired of playing with Tannehill. And another instance where this occurred, Randy Moss. Randy Moss was playing in the game, and it was less than 2 minutes left. And it looked like his team, the Vikings, were going to lose. This was during the first stint he had with Minnesota. And he just walked off the field because it looked like they didn't have a chance to win. And so he didn't wait for the end of the game. He just left. And he took a lot of backlash because of that. But it's still an instance of a player walking off from his teammates before the game had ended. And those three instances, they're all a little bit different, but it all still boils down to the same. Should you stay on the field the entire time during your teammates' battle? Now, I would say that Moss, he should have stayed on the field. There's only less than 2 minutes left. Anything can happen. I've seen a lot of games turn sideways in the last 2 minutes where teams thought they had a game won. They were up by double digits, and it worked out that suddenly they were in peril and you end up losing. I've seen that several times over the years. And in the case of Vontae Davis, if he didn't want to play anymore, you could at least finish the game, man. Just get through the game without getting hurt, and then everything would have been all right. And you just come on and do your press conference and retire then. But this guy Campbell, I'm thinking, since we don't have anything concrete, by the way, he refused to play the other night. I think that the best explanation I can come up with that is that he was just like Vontae Davis. He's been in the league 8-9 years, and I just don't want to play no more, man. You sit there and you think about it, and all the carnage that takes place, he just didn't want to play anymore. Now, I can kind of relate myself. I used to be a walk-on in college, and walk-ons in college, we pretty much run the scout team. You know what your role was, or once you realize this is probably what it's going to be, then you have a decision to make. Do I stick with this, or do I just give it on up? Well, that last spring practice I went to, I'm thinking I'm going to have a chance to, move up more than what I did, and it didn't give me an opportunity. So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, man, I wasted my time. But this was halfway through spring practice. So I got a choice. Do I leave or do I finish? So I decided, I want to be through with this. And I waited till the end of spring practice. I wasn't going to walk off and have that quitting on my label. I didn't reach the heights that I wanted to reach. In hindsight, I could have did much more than what I did then, but I didn't see it from this viewpoint now. But I still had the foresight not to quit in that situation, regardless if I was a dependent on member of a team or not. I had my role, and I did my role, and that was the end of that. But I didn't quit, so I'm glad I didn't do that. But the thoughts do enter your mind about what moves you should make once you have come to a determination that this is what it is, and you need to make a decision on what you should do. So I don't know for sure if Campbell feels that way, but it's just the way that I think something that took place. Now, speaking of Randy Moss, he came out the other day and said that he has cancer. He had cancer formed between his liver and his pancreas, and he had some procedures done to try to get rid of that. And for what I understand, they don't say anything about what stage, but it looks like it might be somewhere around stage one. It was noticeable to fans while he was online that his eyes were turning yellow. And when I saw that, I'm thinking maybe, he's got a liver problem. And I don't know how long he's had that problem, but when your eyes start turning yellow like that, then you know there's something seriously wrong with your liver and or kidneys. And in that case, it turned out to be his liver, but it was somewhere between the liver and the pancreas. It's been told to me that if you get cancer of the pancreas, that's pretty much it. And there's really no cure for that. And I thought that the liver, and call me crazy, but somewhere I heard medically that the liver does like reproduce itself to a certain extent. I'm not sure about that, but I have heard that before. But I was told I was wrong about that too. You tell me. Drop me a comment. Let me know what's going on. But Moss, these guys that play in these leagues, they don't tend to live very long. Um, Somewhere between the 40s and the 50s, a lot of players have died over the years, and definitely before 60. I don't know if that's the accumulation of all the contact they've had over the years and um, what kind of internal damage is being done. As you sit back and think about it, I'm running full speed, you running full speed, and you trying to hit me and bring me to the ground. Um, there's some contact there during the collision, and we don't know what it's doing to your organs inside. Well, if you play pro football, you you definitely play college football, and you came through high school, so you got years and years and years of these collisions, and you have years and years of all these collisions affecting your health. So who's to say that Moss didn't get hit somewhere and it caused some damage to him internally that led to his cancer? Also, we don't know if he smoked or drank. A lot of times when you drink or live a rough lifestyle, that can add to it too. Don't know what kind of lifestyle Moss led, but given his personality, I tend to think that Moss was in for a good time. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'm just a little concerned. Hopefully he can come through with it. Right now, he said that the procedure that he did pretty much corrected his problem. But you know how cancer is; it comes back, and cancer is very brutal. Went through that with my mother. She ran through it pretty quick, man, and it's a hard thing to watch, and especially with the speed of how it occurs when somebody that you love has to go through something like that, and you can't do a damn thing about it. And even now, thinking about it, it's almost 6 years now. But that was one of the roughest things, or the roughest thing I ever had to do. So I don't wish cancer on nobody, but unfortunately, cancer is something that is growing in this country, and I wonder because of all the money that's being made on the, um, the situation, is if they're really trying to get a cure. I think it's the opposite. I think what they try to do, they try to give you these procedures that they know won't help you, but it'll cause them to generate more money. My mom went through surgery, but I think the surgery was detrimental to her because when they cut you open, that air hits the um, the cancer, and it seems to cause it to thrive. And if you know that the air is going to cause cancer to thrive, why would you recommend surgery if it's not going to do very much good? And I think that was the case with my mom. It operated on her knowing full well that it wasn't going to help her. I just think it made the situation worse. But I can't do anything about that now. But I hear people say cancer. I cringe at the thought of what's next. Because if that's not it, that chemo, that's bad too. They got this stuff called new Neulasta, and it's almost like it's been described to me as like somebody taking knives and constantly sticking you over and over and over again. That's what it's like to be under that new Neulasta stuff. So, I don't wish cancer on nobody, but it's a rough thing. And Moss, he's going through it now. So those yellow eyes you saw the other day, now you have an understanding of what's been going on. So hopefully for him, it doesn't come back. But speaking of cancer, um, I told you guys I do ride share. The other day I picked up a guy. He told me he had found out that he had stage 4 brain cancer before he could do anything about it. He told me that he had migraines all his life. So when he started having head pain, he thought it was just from migraines again. Well, his vision started turning black and it got really blurry when he could see. So he finally went to the hospital, and that's when they found a mass on his brain, which turns out to be stage 4. Had that removed, and he said that he's made a full recovery. But I asked him, what are you going to do to prevent the cancer from coming back? He said there's not much you can do to prevent the cancer from coming back, but what you can do is when it is try to live the best lifestyle you can, a healthy lifestyle, and at the same time, be more vigilant of the signs and symptoms of cancer, and maybe you can ward it off. But he said he beat it. He beat the odds, stage 4. There's no more stages beyond that. And luckily for him, he beat it. So again, it's not something you want to deal with, but with the rise of cancer numbers going up across the nation, at some point, you're probably going to have to deal with it either with somebody else or maybe even yourself. So let's hope you don't have to do that. But anyway, the point today was to talk about Devondre Campbell walking off the other night as the Rams knocked off the 49ers 12-6. Maybe he could have made the difference during that game because of his experience. But by not playing, kind of put the 49ers in the lurch. You got to go deeper into your rotation. And the guy behind him is not as good as he is. Not saying that that guy caused the team to lose, but again, Campbell could have made a difference. Uh, it's never a good idea to walk away from your teammates if even if you got a somewhat legitimate excuse, your teammate's going to look at you side eyes in the future. This is why Shanahan said that there's no possible way that a player can come back after walking away from his teammates. It just didn't add up. And I just think the guy was just tired of playing, kind of like Vontae Davis. I'm sure he's going to speak out in the future. No other team is going to be excited about picking him up. And I just think he's done. He's made his career. He's played long enough to get an NFL retirement. So I think the man just tired of playing, man. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. People just get tired. And wherever it happens, it's just like death. Wherever it happens, that's where it happens. And I think the halftime of that game is where it happened for Campbell. He just don't want to do it no more, man. But he's got a little bit of company. Like I say, Vontae Davis did it. Mike Wallace kind of did it. And Randy Moss sort of did it. All these guys did this, walked out on their teammates before the game was over. Never a good idea. But gonna come back on later on today. As you know, Bill Belichick took that job at North Carolina and is sending shockwaves around the ACC as well as other parts of the sports world. And people are talking about what's next. Well, what's next is the college football is going to become more and more and more like the pro football because college football really is football. It has been in a lot of ways. It's just the structure hasn't been there. They even changed the rules of the game to mirror the NFL. They got a 2-minute warning now. They never had that in college. You got it now. And the question is, are they going to start having preseason games like the NFL has? You got 12 now and 12 regular season games, no preseason games, and now you got a postseason. So amateurism, I asked before, is it dead? Sure looks that way to me. I don't know what's the relevance or importance of giving a guy a scholarship or trying to make them stick to the NCAA rules when clearly it's all about money. Money is ruling everything and it's taking over everything. So the only loose end left to tie up is how does Title IX play into this with the NCAA, the male-female thing? How does the fairness, how does this equate? How does the Supreme Court's rule against Title IX now that these guys are making this massive money? How are you going to balance that out and make it fair when it comes to the female opportunities? There's no sport for females like football, and it's never going to be an equal number here. So it's going to always be off. So it's going to be interesting to see what takes place. But the first big court case, that House versus NCAA, that is mandated that schools are going to have to pay or keep a part of money to pay these athletes. That's in addition to the NIL. So if you got guys like Shedeur Sanders who's making over $4 million a year with his NIL, he would have made much more than that when the school have to pay you a couple $1 million. So as a quarterback, just like NFL, they're going to make more than the other players because it makes all the difference in the world for a football team if you got a guy that can stand back there and throw it. And he was able to do that. So he's looking at somewhere close to $7, $8 million a year if he would have come back. But looks like to me he's going to go ahead and head on off to the NFL and take a shot there. The question is his coach dad going to do the same thing? He says no. I say he might have something to do with the NFL, but I don't think he wants to coach in the NFL. But as far as being loyal to Colorado, he's going to be just as loyal to Colorado as he was to Jackson State. In my opinion, he's only doing this for his sons. And at this point, he has proven me to be correct. So the only question is the announcement, is he going to stay or is he going? And that's what I'm waiting to hear. So until next time, we'll talk a little bit more about college football and the fallout that's taking place in the ACC. And we'll go from there. And a lot of things going on in sports today. Got a basketball game. Also, might have a football opportunity for myself coming up. But when I get more information on that, I will surely let you know. Until next time, it's been Sports for Real. I catch you guys on the other side. I'm out.